So, last night, Delta Force Hawk Ops released new gameplay showcasing their extraction mode again. This mode is clearly heavily inspired by DMZ, and I wanted to go through all the footage we have so far and what I like and what I'm worried about in this mode. Just a reminder that this game is essentially a Battlefield / Call of Duty style FPS that's going to be free to play on all platforms, console, PC and mobile. And they're creating an extraction mode as a core experience. This game seems to be the closest extraction shooter to replace DMZ, but there are some concerning mechanics and features that could kill the mode. We have a ton of game footage of the extraction mode to show now, so let's get started. So the trailer starts out in this futuristic briefing room, and they kind of explain the overall vibe of what's going on. You've got your Al Mazrah forces and your Shadow Company just fighting each other over the map. This is all one big map, by the way, a bit like Al Mazrah. So this is the tourist center that you saw at the beginning of the last gameplay that we saw, and the Mandel brick works exactly like the weapons case from DMZ. This shows people making their loadouts the same way you would in Call of Duty. They've got lasers, optics, underbarrels, everything you'd probably expect to see in a Call of Duty loadout system. In this trailer, they show tac stance, and they also have variable scopes. The enemies look a little bit goofy. They're kind of like less serious than the Call of Duty vibe that we've had before. And as they come into this main foyer area, you've got your classic flamethrower boss. Shoot him in the back, that's his weak spot, so he goes down quickly. In this area, they actually find the Mandel brick. I think this is supposed to be PvP there, taking out other players, and then obviously they're reviving them as well, using smokes to cover, and then throwing grenades. They seem to have a weird smoke trail on them. And here is someone using an ability, but we'll get to that later. Putting the Mandel brick in something else. This could be how you extract the weapons case, but they don't show them extracting necessarily. But I'll show exactly how that's going to work later on in the video. So I just wanted to go back over a few select parts of this trailer that I think are interesting or important. And alongside this, I'm going to reference gameplay from almost 6 months ago that actually shows in detail what these mechanics are like. So first off, the Mandel brick, which is exactly like the weapons case. They've already said that when you pick up the Mandel brick, you will be shown globally on the map to all other players. And of course, if you extract it, then you're going to get better rewards. The only difference is it seems like you extract the Mandel brick separately to extracting yourselves. So we'll have to see how that works. Now, here's an overview of the whole map. Now, this isn't in the trailers. This is from the gameplay. As you can see, it's a lot smaller than Al Mazrah, maybe the same size as Ashika Island. And if you look closely, you've got the Mandel brick marked, you've got the boss marked, you've got safes marked in there as well. As far as we know, this will be the only map on launch. However, after combing through the gameplay, you see this big overview map with 7 maps, including the dam that they're going to release on launch. So potentially, they're going to slowly drip feed maps as the game goes on. As for extracting yourself, they seem to have some DMZ-like green smoke that you call in a chopper and it picks you up. But unfortunately, you don't jump onto a physical chopper. It's more of a, you stand in one place and then an animation plays and I think you're extracted out of the game. I think this aspect will certainly put a lot of DMZ players off. It does make the feeling of extracting a little less exciting and epic. Now, the loadout system is a little bit more complex than DMZ, a bit more like Tarkov or Arena Breakout. You have 2 primary weapons, a secondary weapon, you have bags, you have helmets and armor. You even have a secure container that seems to be 2 slots at the bottom of the screen there. And again, is this just a little bit too complex for someone who just wants to get in the game and play? And how is inventory management going to work for someone, for instance, on mobile or controller? We'll have to see. Regarding gun attachments, again, a lot more complex than just 5 attachment system from COD. You have to buy individual attachments. And will there be any kind of system like the insured weapon slots where a player without any money is able to get a gun that's pretty good? The trailers make it seem like quite a simple game, but it's actually a lot more complex than what we've seen so far. Now, moving on to the PvP. As you can see in the trailers, they have the down but not out system. They also have a revival. Although you can't see it in the footage, teammates will have nameplates, and I'm not sure if there's friendly fire. But one thing they don't show in the trailers is you can actually pick up and carry your teammates out of danger. Now, I can't actually think of another game that has this feature apart from what was supposed to be in Battlefield 5. And I guess maybe Fortnite. The thing that I can't work out from the footage is whether you can be revived after you've been fully downed and finished. In this clip, the guy's opening a door and he runs into another player. He takes him out, and the guy doesn't go into a down state because I'm guessing he has no teammates left, and his body just disappears. And then they have a physical loot box like PUBG, and then when you're searching through their bag, it seems to search the items extremely quickly, which is something I really dislike from Arena Breakout in how slow it is. Something else I also noticed from this footage is that you don't need physical magazines and you don't need to load the mags with rounds. As long as you have rounds in your bag, they will go instantly into your gun without any extra work. And on the subject of looting, this game actually has a loot rarity system and an in-game economy. So items that you extract out of the game actually have value. This is definitely something I felt like DMZ was missing, and honestly, the game would have had a lot more life if you actually cared about the items that you're taking out. Now, for what I consider to be the worst part of the trailer so far are the abilities. Now, we've seen the abilities in the past. I think this one in this trailer in particular is the most egregious. We've seen a bow that reveals enemies around corners and then highlights them for your team. There's even what seems to be a healing gun to heal your teammates from range and maybe revive them. And then there's also these drones that act as a smoke grenade that you can control around corners. But again, these don't seem so bad in just assisting in a PvP fight. If I'm about to extract a rare item and a guy teleports round a corner and kills me like this, I guarantee you a lot of tactical shooter fans will be quitting the game faster than you can blink. It almost feels like they've added these abilities just to make them seem different from the other games that are around at the moment. As I said in the past, a lot of people will just see these abilities and immediately not want to try the game. I don't mind having them potentially in the normal modes, like the Battlefield style mode, but having them in quite a slow-paced tactical shooter just seems like a big mistake in my eyes. Either way, I think this is the closest to a casual extraction shooter like DMZ that we're getting anytime soon that's coming to PC and console whilst being free. It removes some of the annoyances and complexities of Tarkov and Arena Breakout, but also adds more depth compared to DMZ, but maybe a little too much cheese regarding the hero-like abilities. What do you think of Delta Force so far? Does it actually compare to DMZ enough? I am, of course, a little concerned with the free-to-play aspect and what kind of monetization will be implemented. With the entire game being free, it's likely there'll be some sort of pay-to-advance and unusual skin choices. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope that there'll be some sort of playable version for us in the next couple of months. Hopefully, I'll be covering something else about this game in the near future, so subscribe for more Delta Force news. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.